Hey friend, a quick update for you. My website is officially live. I'm so excited. You can check it out at reneemat.com. And my name is spelled a little bit different, so people get hung up on it sometimes, but it's Renae. And I'll make sure the link is in the show notes in case you need to just click that and get to the website. But this website is where you're going to find all the things that I talk about here on the podcast. Plus, I've officially opened the wait list for my upcoming course. So, if you've been wanting some extra support to finally get those 5 foundational routines working for real life, you'll definitely want to get on that list so that you are the first to know when doors open. The new website is going to be your go to spot to learn more about me, check out those resources I mentioned on the podcast, and get that support if you're ready to create routines and systems that actually work for real life. So when you're done listening, head to reneemat.com, take a look around, pop your name on that wait list. I cannot wait for you to see it. Do you know the feeling of having multiple thoughts rushing into your head at random times and thinking, I need to remember that later? Well, then we get busy and we forget all about it until something triggers our memory, but then we can't actually remember what we were supposed to remember. We just remember that we wanted to remember something. Our brains can only hold on to so much information, and the more we try to hold everything in our minds, the more decision fatigue and overwhelm we start to feel just trying to manage it all in our heads. So, in order to prevent this from happening, I love using Google Keep as a tool to keep me organized as those thoughts pop up. So, today I actually want to share with you over 20 list ideas to keep in Google Keep to help keep you organized. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. Now, these list ideas, you can really use any tool you'd like, but if you have not tried Google Keep yet, I highly recommend it. It is so easy to use, it's very user friendly, it is no cost. As long as you have a free Google account, you can use this tool and you can use it on the desktop, you can use it in an app. It is very accessible and it's just very simple to use. There are a lot of different types of digital note-taking apps and things like that that I know people have been using or recommend. And I've tried several different note-taking apps and list apps and things like that, but I have never stuck to one as long as I have to Google Keep because sometimes those notebooks in other apps get really confusing or they get really messy really quickly. And I have found that Google Keep is much easier to keep organized and to just manage well. And it's very user-friendly where it doesn't feel like you have to take some sort of little training to learn how to use it, you can go in and you can figure it out pretty quickly. So, if you've been around here for a while, you know that I love using Google Keep for grocery shopping. This is where I create my grocery list and I organize it and I use the check boxes to check things off and it drops it out and it's just super super handy. However, it is not only used for my grocery lists. I actually use Google Keep for several things and I'm going to give you a list of them today because I have a list of over 20 ideas for lists and I have probably 18 of them that I personally use. So I was actually going through my Google Keep account and like scanning what lists I have. And that's how I created this list for you because I actually use these. So I want to get into the list, but before I do that, I just want mention a couple of things. So first of all, if you are wanting more details of how I use it for my grocery shopping list, that is in episode 177. I kind of break down how to use it yourself if you want a little bit more step-by-step method of using it for grocery shopping. But there are so many more uses. And before we go into the actual list, I want to share a few key tips with you when it comes to creating lists and notes. So, number one, keep all of your lists in one place. Try not to use multiple places unless it makes sense. So there are some instances where I will create a list in like my paper planner and then I move a couple of things to the Google Keep app or vice versa. And it's only once I know that that works really well for me or I'm organizing it in a strategic way that is not going to be too much to keep up with. Because if we are using too many things, like we're using a lists app, we're using pen and paper, and then we're just texting ourselves reminders, things to that nature, we can get really overwhelmed really quickly and we start feeling really scattered. So pick one spot and really stick to that until you want to make strategic changes later. If you decide to make changes later, you might realize that you love keeping everything in the Keep app and this is where you just want to organize all your lists and it works great. And that is where your go to is anytime you're looking for things. Because if you have, a list written on a piece of scratch paper shoved in your purse, and then you've got things texted to you, and then you've got things in your notes app, you're probably going to miss something or forget about something because it just feels too scattered. And it's also overwhelming. You have to try and remember where you wrote that thing down. Where if you are always going to one place, you know that that is where you're going to look for what you had written down. So it just makes it really easy. And I think Google Keep is a really great place to stay organized. The key tip number 2 is to keep it clear. So when you are using something like Google Keep, you want to give very clear titles and you want to give yourself enough information so that when you come back to it, whether it's, a week later, months later, maybe even a year later, it's still clear on what this list was and what it was for. So you might need to put a little bit of extra information in that seems unnecessary when you're creating the list because it's like, "Oh, I'm going to remember this." But just taking a few extra seconds to add a little bit extra information is going to help you in your for your future self of when you are looking through these lists to quickly decide, is this still relevant? Is it something I want to keep or is it something I can delete? Key tip number 3 is to keep it organized by keeping those clear titles, keeping enough information, and keeping everything in one place. It does tend to get pretty full. So we want to make sure that we are utilizing our lists well. And if you see a list that is no longer relevant, don't wait to clear out your lists later. Just go ahead and delete it right away. And that's going to help you consistently keep your Google Keep board or your dashboard pretty well organized, but it's just going to help you maintain it and help you be able to find things easily moving forward. And it helps you stay on top of it so that it saves time and you never really have to go back in and organize it and spend time doing that. Because if you see a list that's no longer relevant, just delete it and move on. It takes you a second to do that, and then it just stays organized for you. And key tip number 4 is to utilize the search tool. By having our clear titles, you are able to very quickly find what you need in Google Keep. Their search tool actually searches both the title and the contents within each note. So when you are creating a grocery list, you want to make sure that like grocery is written somewhere within your list. Or if it's a Costco list, write Costco in the title or in the list somewhere, because then when you go to your search bar and you click on Costco or you type in Costco, anything that has the word Costco in it is going to pop up in your search and you can click on the one that is relevant that you're looking for. So when you are utilizing these notes and lists and things like that in Google Keep, if you think that you're going to search for it later, just remember to give yourself some keywords in there so that you can think about it like, oh, am I going to search for this? Like, what would I search for when I want to find this later? And give yourself those words in your title or within the content that is going to be searchable later. And then you will be able to easily find rather than trying to scroll through and find what you need. You can just type it into the search bar and it'll pop up for you. And then it's really easily accessible so that when you are having these thoughts pop into your head, you can very quickly go into Google Keep, use the search bar, type in what you need, find the note that you are looking for, and type in your thought, and you are done. It takes such minimal time, and then you don't have to think about it and keep that in your head. You can just clear your mind and move on with your day, and it is very easy to stay organized this way. Another note that before we go into the list is that I just want to mention that Google Keep allows you to do two different versions of your notes. You can keep it like a note where you're really just writing in information and it looks like a little notepad, or you can actually add checkboxes and it will sort it into checkboxes for you that you can then click and it drops items down to the bottom of the list. And you can reset these checkboxes so that you can either reuse your list or you can just delete it when you're done with it. So you have a lot of options here and you have a lot of flexibility, but it's such a cool app that is very, very simple to use, but you can use it in so many different ways. So when you are wanting to utilize this app, you to get it, you just go to keep.google.com or you go to your app store and search for Google Keep. And this is not a sponsored episode. You literally, I just love it so much that I talk about it all the time. And I just recommend it to everybody because it's so easy to use. Okay, so now that we have talked about all the different key tips to remember and how to get Google Keep, now it's time to actually go through the list of what you're here for. So thanks for wading through all of that information and now we're ready to actually get to the list ideas. So we've got over 20 here. So there's a lot. So just take what you think is useful and just it gives you some inspiration to brainstorm what you could organize within Google Keep rather than just doing a grocery list. So number 1 is your grocery list, of course, because we can't miss that one. That's like the main thing I use Google Keep for. I use it often for my grocery list. And like I said, you can go to episode 177 if you want details on how to utilize it for a grocery list the way that I do. Number 2, the second idea is a packing list. This is really great if you have an upcoming vacation, weekend getaways, camping trips, anything like that. When you are thinking about those things like, "Oh, I should pack this," you literally can go in, you can make a list, title it for your trip, and then anytime you have those thoughts of thinking about something, you can just go plug it into your list. I actually was thinking about this. We have a vacation coming up to the Pacific Northwest, and have thought of several different things at random periods of time. And instead of thinking about it and thinking, okay, I just can't remember that, and then getting on our trip and thinking, oh man, I forgot that, instead of doing that, I just pull up my phone, I open Google Keep, I look for our vacation list, and I just type it in. So now when I'm ready to pack, all of those things are in there and I can finish my full packing list. So it's just very handy. And in the episode 177, also talk about creating a template grocery list. This is a really great way to utilize that method as well. Is if you have like a weekend getaway packing list that you tend to do a lot of weekend getaways, and there's some consistent things that you pack for these weekend getaways that you always want to remember, you could do a weekend getaway packing list and then just add it as a template. And then when you go to create your list, just make a copy of that original template. And you don't have to start from scratch every time. So not only are you not forgetting any items, but you're also saving a lot of time by not redoing what you are consistently repeating over and over. So that is a really great way to utilize that. But you could do that for camping trips if you've got a lot of like supplies for camping and you don't want to forget these things, create yourself a camping list and use it as a template so then you can make a copy and then just adjust the copy as needed. And this will allow you to be able to not forget anything and not be stuck at a campsite and not have what it is you need. So, idea number 3 is meal ideas. When you are thinking of like a meal that you want to try, or it's like, oh, we should do that sometime, instead of thinking about it later, plug it into a list of meal ideas in Google Keep. And then when you're ready to create your menu, you can use this as an idea list that it makes it a little bit quicker and easier to very quickly create your menu. Number 4 is books or authors that you either like or a list of things that you want to read. If you have people giving you recommendations or you see one that interests you, just plug it into this list and then you no longer have to think about trying to remember what book you wanted to read or what you wanted to have on a list to read next, or authors that you just really enjoy. So when you're looking for a book, you don't have to try and think about that. You can just go to your list and say, hey, I really like this author. I'm going to look to see if they they have more books available that I have not read yet. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this type of list, but you can do authors or books you like that you want to read, or even that you want to recommend to others when it comes time, because we all might want to have a list like that. Number five is a TV list. Tony knows that I keep lists in Google Keep like this to keep me organized. So he actually recommended this one. And we have a TV list that is in Google Keep for movies and shows. So, what his idea was, and this is what we ended up doing, is have a list of the different shows that we're watching, because sometimes, they have like the slow release where they're only releasing episodes, once a week, and you have to wait for those. So, you might be watching several different shows at the same time, or you're waiting for a new season to come out and you don't want to forget about that show when the new season comes out, because sometimes it's a couple of years before the new season comes out. And so what his idea was to actually create a list of the shows and movies that we want to watch or we have been recommended to us, and their release dates. So we have a list organized in Google Keep specifically for our TV series and movies that we are watching or want to watch, and their release dates if we are waiting for that. So that is was a really smart thing, I think, that he recommended, and that has been really easy to just have a quick list of what we are looking at. Number six is date ideas. We have it scheduled to do a monthly date night that is like a non negotiable. Like, this is what we do. And then we take turns deciding what we are going to do. So, when I think of a date idea or a place that we want to go and visit or a restaurant I want to try, then I actually write it in this date ideas list so that when it's my time to plan our date, I have a very quick go to list that I can review and very quickly plan what we're going to do on the date night that I need to plan. Number seven is business I business ideas. If you own your own business, this is a really great way to write down and keep a one place for those ideas that pop into your head. So you could organize it by, if you're a podcaster, you could organize it by episode topic ideas. If you are somebody that does a lot of social media, you could have a list for social media content ideas and things that you want to do, because if you're a content creator of any kind, you probably have ideas popping into your head at really random times. So when you are thinking about these things, just have a one spot to go to that you can write these ideas down when they pop into your head. If you also have things that you need to do, this is a great place to put that. So if you have things that you need to do within your business, have a little checklist of things that you need to do weekly or daily if you don't have some sort of task management system set up. This is a really great place to start that, and start simple, but have a place that is organized that you're not going to forget these things. Number eight is routines. If you are trying to implement routines, this is a great place to be able to build your routine and have a place that is reminding you what steps you need to do in order to complete your routine until it becomes a habit. Eventually, you're not going to need to look at it, but in the beginning, you might find that it's really handy to have a list that you can just check off as you go to keep you on track. So, a really great example of this is like your daily seven home routine. When you are getting started, you might want to put in your seven steps of what you need to do in order. And then as you're testing things out and you're testing and you're tweaking to find what order is the best for you, then you can drag and drop and rearrange it and try it in new patterns until you find what is the most efficient and it flows the best for you, because then you can stick to that routine, and eventually once you repeat it over and over and over, you're not going to need this list and you can just delete it. But in the beginning, you might find that having a routine kind of sketched out step by step is very helpful. So, having routines within Google Keep can be really useful. Number nine is things to do in whatever city you want. So you could do it in your local city, a city that you want to, do a weekend getaway to, or somewhere you travel often. You could have multiple lists if you want to, or just have one and then break it down within the list by the city. Whatever or works best for you is a great idea. But when you are looking at this, A lot of times, like, for example, we live in, northeastern Minnesota along Lake Superior, so there is a highway called it's like North Shore Drive is what we call it, and when you are going up North Shore Drive, there are tons of, like, different places to stop for waterfalls or beaches or campgrounds or hiking trails. There's just a lot of things to do up this really long stretch of road that goes along the coast of Lake Superior. So when you are traveling up that road, there tends to be a lot of different things that you can stop and do. So we have a list that is specifically things to do along the North Shore. And anytime I see something advertised or a new hiking trail that somebody shares or a new like little restaurant that somebody stopped at that they're recommending, I just plug it into this list. So next time we go up the shore, we can look at this list and say, "Hey, what do we want to do?" And we don't have to like go Google and try and figure out what to do. We have a list of things that we already want to try and we can put together like what we want to do that day. Okay, next, I'm trying to get through these pretty quickly for you and give you some information without it getting too long of an episode. So I'm trying. I know I'm going fast, but I'm trying. Number 10 is home or closet needs. This is a great place to utilize not necessarily essentials of what you need because I do have an episode of all about your essentials list. So that is something a little bit different, but this is more thinking about like home decor or specific clothing pieces or accessories, things like that. Just home or closet needs that you want to keep in mind next time you go shopping. So, if this is like closet needs, this might be something like, oh, I've been really wanting to get a new belt and I just haven't been doing that. So, next time you're out shopping, maybe shop for a belt instead of the same. Pair of jeans that you have like four different pairs already in your closet that you don't need a new pair of jeans. You need the belt to go with the jeans. So it's things like that where you just kind of keep in mind and keep on track of what you actually need. Or if you are like thinking about your house and you've been really wanting to get an end table for one of the couches in the living room and you just have not had a chance to do it yet, or you haven't seen a sale, when you are going to actually do some home shopping, you can go to your list and be like, oh, that's right. The end table, that's what we've been wanting. Let's look and see if there's something for that. So, those are just some ideas if you want to kind of keep a list of things that you want, but you don't necessarily need to buy right now. Number 11 is interview or conversation questions. If you have like job interviews coming up or just general conversational questions, so that it's like, okay, I have some questions, like go to questions that I want to use within a conversation because I'm not a great networker. Like, that is something that you can plug into a list to help you get better at like public speaking or connecting with people or answering job interview questions, or if you are the one interviewing somebody, some questions that might pop up into your head, keep them in a list like this. Like, this is a really easy way to plug those questions in as you think about them and stay organized with that without forgetting what those questions are. So, that's just an idea if you are in that type of area in your life that needs some question ideas that are tracked. Number 12 is doctor appointment questions. This is one that I think is so handy, especially like I've been doing a lot of health stuff in the last like year. And this is something that I have found very useful is that I randomly think of questions at really weird times that I want to ask my doctor at my next appointment. And so I have just created a list so that when I go to my appointment, I actually pull out Google Keep and I plug in the search tool, I plug in doctor, and I have a list pop up, and that is my list of questions that I wanted to ask so that I make sure I ask everything I wanted to ask. And I don't leave my appointment thinking, oh, shoot, I forgot to ask all of these things because I didn't remember on the spot where I have them written down. I don't forget. Number 13 is holiday task lists. So if you tend to kind of repeat a lot of steps at Christmas time or at Easter or at Thanksgiving, and there's just the kind of a list of things that you do or you want to keep track of that are repeated each year, instead of trying to think of this list every year from scratch, just create a list keep it and then just reset the list after the holiday is over. And then you can have that list for next year and you aren't starting from scratch again. So if this is like, say, Christmas, it might be your gift shopping, grocery shopping, baking, actually like taking the time to do the baking, wrapping gifts, decorating for Christmas, doing the events, anything like that. Put it all in one place and then just reset the list next year and you're not starting from scratch. Number 14, this is gift ideas. So if you are having like if you buy gifts for other people often, like if there are a lot of people in your life that you're buying gifts for, I love having a gift ideas list because if you are having a conversation with them and they mention something that they would really like or they are interested in or that they think would be really cool that they just don't want to spend the money themselves, but it's something that is of interest to them, plug it into your gift ideas list. Because then when it comes time for their birthday or for Christmas or anything like that, you've got a gift ideas list, you've got their name in caps, and then underneath their name, you've got just a bunch of ideas of things that they have mentioned over a period of time that you now have a list of ideas or things they're interested in that you can pull from. So you're not like, oh, what on earth am I going to get them this year? You've already got a list of ideas put together that you have been gathering all year long. So I like to have just one gift ideas list, and then within the list, I just put their name in all caps, and then I put all of their gift ideas underneath, and then I do that for multiple people. So I have like a gift ideas list, and then I've just got a bunch of people within my list. And when they randomly mention something, I just go and plug it in. It looks like I'm just texting somebody really quickly. I plug it into that list, and I'm done. Very, very handy, and then you don't have to think about it later. Um, and then number 15 is karaoke songs. If you are somebody that sings a lot of karaoke, my husband's family, there's several of them that have like TV screens in their outdoor shop and they have like a karaoke system and they love to do karaoke. And this was especially common when we were younger, like early on in our marriage, and I started this list and my parents do it sometimes too, and they have a karaoke system. So it's like, it's just kind of handy to have a list of all these songs that people like to sing and are kind of fun karaoke songs. Even if I don't do karaoke really, it's nice to have a list of songs that are common. So we're not just kind of scrambling trying to think of songs when it's time to sing karaoke. Number 16 is places to visit. So this is not necessarily things to do in a city like we already talked about, but this is actual like bucket list places to go. Like we want to visit New York City. Like okay, let's put that on the list. And then you've just got all these like random things that you want to go and or random places that you want to go visit. Do you want to go to the Black Hills? Do you want to go to Disneyland? Do you want to go to Zion National Park? Like all of these different places, go ahead and put them in a list. And then you've got a list of places you want to go. So when you're planning a trip, you've got a list of things, of ideas of places to visit. Number 17 is bucket lists. This is not only places to visit, so you could do it however it works for you, but this could also mean just like random bucket lists. Like if it is your dream to skydive, then that goes on a bucket list. If it's your dream to go visit Greece, then that could go on your bucket list. You could also do it a little smaller scale and do like a seasonal bucket list where it's maybe something like more local where it's just a summer like 2025 summer bucket list. And that is what you have for you or your family or for your kids. And you just create a list of things that you want to do this summer. And anytime you're thinking that you have like a free weekend and you want to actually plan something, go visit this bucket list that's in your Google Keep app and see like what you could check off this weekend to accomplish all of the things on your bucket list for this summer. So you could totally do a seasonal bucket list or like a vacation bucket list. All right. So then we're getting to the end. Number 18 is a babysitter's list. If you are somebody that has kids and you have multiple babysitters, this might be just a really easy way to keep a list of people that have offered to babysit or that you have made arrangements to have them as a potential babysitter, to plug their name in, all of their contact information, maybe their availability if they have a specific set of availability. Then you could just plug all of this in. So when you have something come up, you can go down your babysitters list and it's very quick and easy to access. Number 19 is journal prompts. If you like to journal or if you have a desire to start journaling, but you're not really sure what to journal, then if there is a question that pops up that it's like, that would be kind of a cool journal prompt, just have a list of go to journal prompts that you keep in Google Keep. Because then when you sit down to journal, you're not just staring at a blank page, not sure what to write. You can just open up your list of journal prompt questions and just pick one and then just start journaling. So that is just a really easy way to make journaling more simple. Number 20 is birthdays. Now, I don't keep birthdays in Google Keep because I do it directly in Google Calendar and I set them as a recurring event. However, if you don't have something like that already set up, this would be a really easy way to organize birthdays. You could put, January in all caps, and then you could plug in the dates of any birthdays. So maybe it's underneath January, you have the 5th is John, the 7th is Jane, or whatever birthday list you have. So it's broken up, it's very organized, and anytime you enter a new month, you can take a quick review of whose birthdays are that month. Now, one thing that I was thinking that you could do, it might make it a little bit more. It might make it feel a little bit more busy within your Google Keep dashboard, but this would work really well if you don't have a different system set up. You could do like the title of it, you could do like birthdays January or January birthdays, whatever you want to organize it as a title, and then create your list and utilize the checkbox feature. Because then, once you open up your list and you've got all of your January birthdays in there, if you are somebody that sends birthday cards or gets gifts for everybody, then all you have to do is check their name off and then they will drop down to the bottom. And you know that you are done getting their gifts or sending their card for that month. And then when the month is over, just reset the checklist and then move on to February's note and checklist. So you could definitely separate them so that you have a note for each of the 12 months. Or if you want them all to be in one, because if you're using the checkbox feature, they will drop off when you check them off, so they might get a little bit mixed up because you're not gonna know if you're putting, like, a header as January uh, and then just doing the 5th, it will drop it down, and then you're not gonna remember which month it is. So if you're going to put them all in one, just make sure instead of just putting the 5th is John, make sure you put, like, January 5th is John, so that when you check it off and it drops down to the bottom, when you're resetting the checklist, you can bring and drag that John's birthday back up to January because you remember that it's in January. So that's just something to keep in mind as you are trying to figure out how to organize this. But that would be a really great way if you are somebody that organizes, the cards and the gifts and things like that, or to just remember to say happy birthday to them and just check them off and then just reset your list when you're done. And if you have new birthdays come up, just pop them into your list and you won't forget about them next year. So then we have got our final idea, and this is idea 21, and this is your month's tasks from your annual task list. Now, this is a place where I do think it is useful to have a different space for a list because it's strategic. So I have an episode titled episode 48 or episode 142, and both of these are about creating an annual task list for all of the things that need to be done within your home, your yard, your garden, anything that applies to your home care responsibilities. And this is a list that you basically separate out of everything that needs to be done throughout the year. And what we are looking at doing is pulling all of the tasks for a specific month and then dividing them up throughout that month. So if you have an annual task list, like maybe it's in a spreadsheet or maybe it's on paper, this would be a really cool way of utilizing Google Keep is to just do like January tasks. And then you can go to your annual task list and start just pulling all of your January tasks that need to be done, put them in Google Keep. And then as you have time or as you're planning out your week, you can pull a couple of those tasks for the week. Those can be your priority tasks to focus on, check them off, and then you can get through your list so that by the end of the month, all of those tasks have been checked off and your responsibilities have been taken care of. And then you can delete the note and move on to, February when it's time to move on to the next month and so on and so forth. So that is just a ton of ideas for Google Keep of things to organize within the app. Obviously, there are going to be probably so many more that I didn't even touch on, but I hope this gives you some inspiration and some ideas of ways to just utilize one really easy platform to be able to organize your thoughts, organize your mind, and you can get these things in a way, or organized in a way that does not stress you out. They're easy to use, it's easy to access, it's easy to stay organized, and then you no longer have to think about these things because this list is very easily accessible on your phone or on your computer. And when something pops in your head, go put it in your list and then you don't have to worry about it. And when you are needing to find that information, you know exactly where to go to pull up your list or your ideas, and you can work with that once it's in your Google Keep. So I hope that that wasn't too much information. I know that that was a lot. I need to like take a deep breath and go get something to drink because it's a lot of information. But I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you can take this and try Google Keep out and see what you think. And I would love to know what you do think of Google Keep. If you want to share, you can come and join us in our Facebook community. I know I announced that we have our new website, so you can go to reneematt.com and get the link there for our community. You can get it in the show notes, or you can actually just go to theroutineadvantagecommunity.com and it will take you directly to our Facebook group now. So you can go ahead and do that. And I hope to see you in there and come and share with us what you organize in Google Keep. And I would love to hear from you. So I hope that was helpful. Take care, and I will see you on the next episode. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.